You're listening to the Los Rotos Podcast with Vanessa Scaduto. Produced by Upside Down Creative Media.
Now, I know you can't really see AirPods that much, dude, but like at the golf course, everyone talks to me as if they can't see the white in my ears. Like, I'm not wearing earmuffs, dude.
They don't care.
They don't care.
No.
And then they think that just because you responded to them being like, what was that? That is perfect.
Are we recording this still?
We're good.
Oh.
You can go ahead and start.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Marshall's going to include our free banter, but it's pretty well. But
I'm all with it.
Welcome to Los Rotos. And I usually realize, I don't think I've explained what it means, but if you didn't pass high school Spanish, it means the broken. And today I have with me Cross Blocker. What's up, Cross?
Hey, I'm Cross Blocker. Hey, everybody.
So, Cross, why don't you introduce yourself to people, like how, where you're originally from, your age, ASL, bro. And
Right, yeah.
if you even remember
it started off on the next big thing. We got that out of the way. Yes, thank you. Premature, but I appreciate it. I'm originally from, it's funny, I got like a wild like traveling kind of background. So when I was first born, I was born in Seattle, Washington. And then not even too long after that, we had to move to Charleston, South Carolina, where my dad was from. And then that's where my brother was born. And then after that, we moved straight to Chicago, where we lived there up until elementary, middle school years, and then from there on, I've just been chilling here in Jacksonville. So I've been loving it, Yeah, and I'm also 24 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
But your birthday was recent.
Recently, a year ago.
I'm kidding, because our birthdays are close together. I just remember that.
What day is yours?
Mine's May 28th, and yours is
June 13th.
Yeah, but it's
on a Friday, baby.
Yeah, you're within, because my other friend Corey from high school, his is June 14th. So I always remember.
Oh, so he's got the Trump day. That's Trump's birthday.
Oh,
yeah, dude. So my thing is always like,
he probably knows that. I didn't know that.
See, my thing is like, my birthday only ends when I fall asleep. So like, I'll just be, up all night as you should be on your birthday. And then the following day, people would be like, oh my God, it's my birthday. And I'll be like, it's my birthday too. And they'd be like, oh my God, we share Trump's birthday. I'm just like, yeah, you share his birthday. I'm on my own, like.
That's true. Did you ever have a friend though that had the same birthday and you guys shared it?
Yeah, man, it's funny. I know a lot of folks actually had the same birthday as me. Like, first off, my niece was born on my birthday.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine named Haley. She was born a year after me on my birthday.
Like a year ago.
Yeah, just met her in nursery. Then we fast forward to, celebrities, and I share the same birthday as Steve-O. You know what I'm saying? So it's all sorts of deals.
Oh my God, I forgot to look up celebrity birthdays. I used to know a couple too. I don't because Geminis are, they say they're usually creatives or something.
Yeah.
I think because we're a little nuts or something, if you believe in all the hocus pocus,
And also, I got to say, shout out to Lil Snoop. Rest in peace, boy. I know we have the same birthday, and no one's forgotten about you.
R.I.P. Lil Snoop.
Mm-hmm.
And but wait, let's backtrack before we go down another rabbit hole about birthdays and horoscopes. So how long have you been doing comedy?
So it's kind of a little different. So, I mean, I don't know the exact date that I started, but I do know it was late December. And then I did 1 or 2 open mics. And then after that, I fly to Chicago. I spend the whole winter there. And then by the time we get back, it's March and I'm already starting a new job and all that. I don't really have time to do comedy. And so technically what I like to say is that I started when the pandemic started. It's just it's really easier to say that.
Oh, okay. I thought I thought you had done it longer, but you did drama or something, right?
I've been doing drama and choir and stuff my whole life. I started choir when I was in 8th grade, started that. And then I started drama in 7th grade and I've been doing it since. Even went to college over at Florida State College of Jacksonville. We did that for acting. And so that was a lot of fun. But I've just been doing the arts ever since.
So what made you get into comedy though?
I've always wanted to do comedy. When I was in 6th grade,
I was always a smartass.
I was always, yeah, dude. I was always the funniest person you'd ever met. And so when I was in 6th grade, I actually had a huge obsession with Adam Sandler. It was one of the first folks, him, Chris Farley, just from that era. And it was because those were the DVD sets, the best of Chris Farley, best of Adam Sandler, best of whatever, whatever my dad had.
Oh, see, I didn't know that it existed.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, because I think as I grew up watching them, So I didn't know that.
I thought you guys love box sets. You know, you guys like, high school in the 90s and shit.
Who's you guys? First off,
Not me.
I think having a foreign parent, like you don't get box sets.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
You get
It's either a foreign parent or like a single mom. You don't get a box set.
No, my brother did teach us how to steal those screeners and stuff and do torrents. Like that's what we learned how to do.
But so did my older brother, man. Yeah, that same thing. That's crazy. No, but
thanks, Lawrence.
But when I was obsessed with
that.
Adam Sandler, yeah. But when I was obsessed with Adam Sandler, I actually started like reading biographies about him that would be in like the local library, and they would talk about how he was like stand-up comic, and how he was like a certain kind of person that. It was just words that mean nothing at this point, but it was just really cool reading about it. And so I was like, man, I want to do that. So like for a while I had this in my head that I like at 18, I was going to drop everything I was fucking doing, drive to California, become a comic. Now my stepdad was just like, I remember we got in a big fight one time and he was just like, Cross, he's like, you got these big dreams to just drop everything you're doing and go to California, but to be a comic, well, you got to be real and you got to go to college and like all this shit. And so at that point I was just like, okay, so being a funny guy's not real, and so then I started doing, singing and dancing and acting and, went ways, but it wasn't until just at my biggest downfall in my lifetime that I was just like, maybe I should just try being funny for money. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I feel like if you see, and also like at your age, I'm just like, you guys got the world ahead of you. I'm like this old person.
Dude,
like,
I've had the world ahead of me since I was 12. Okay, and now my little brother has the world ahead of him.
Can I just say, Cross has one of the best confidence, like the best confidence. Slight touch of narcissism there, but like,
dude, you got to be narcissistic if you want to make it.
See, like I don't know. It's I guess in some ways, or you have to. Well,
keep in mind that's also my narcissistic thinking.
Right. I was like, what is the boundary? How far is that, or is that borderline personality where you're like, I'm
you
the
say
best.
I got personality disorder.
I'm not talking about you. I could be talking about anybody.
Right.
Okay, any artist really. Where the line of I can do this, I'm the best at it, to the other point of I'm not lovable, I have to keep my misery and push everybody away when really everybody's no, but we love you. Like that's why we're promoting you, and that's why you have fans and following. Like what are you talking about?
See, I tell myself I don't have fans, but then like I look in the mirror and I'm just like, how can people not love you? And so that's how I go about my day.
Well, I wish I could do that. I have the worst self-esteem, like where, I have like a weird confidence where I guess the reason why I liked comedy is I always used that to make friends because I thought I was hideous. And I thought, and I still think my family hates me. So I was like, well, if they don't like me, like if your own family doesn't like you, who else is going to like you, right? So I learned that I could listen to people and like make jokes and kind of get like have some empathy with them, and then they like me. Initially they'll tell you, oh, I found her so annoying, she was so nice.
No, I totally get that.
But then they realized I was actually that person, and they're like, oh, well, she actually is a nice person.
Oh, she's actually kind of cool.
She's just
dude.
A little quirky, probably slight thing of Asperger's.
Oh my god, it's so quirky. But no, I totally get that. I guess to the point where even when I'm like making a post or something and like, I got 975 followers. So if I make like, it was 600 at some point. But anyways, whenever I
all started with one follower.
Yeah. So whenever I, whenever I have like 975 followers and I only make like 75 likes on a post, and I'm just like, it just means 900 people didn't see it. Sorry.
I have now like close to 800 or whatever, which is
right. It's still pretty impressive. Which
is weird because most of those people I know personally, but they're like from high school or some, in the last actually few months, I noticed there's more people, but again, I got pictures stolen from my profile.
Dude. Was I the person to bring that up to you?
The first person who brought it up to me was actually CJ.
Then that means he's the one that started the account.
No, he texted me and he goes, yo, this isn't you, right? And he goes, no offense, even if it is, I'm not shaming. Like, he was like, and I was like, no, bro. He goes, okay. He goes, I thought so. And then I started trickling in people sending me messages. You did, some other people, but I had some other friends showing me the actual account. So they like clicked on the link, went to the account, Anyway.
Oh yeah, that same thing happened to my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny because like they'll try to message you too on some of these accounts, and we're
I block
actually
everybody though. I'm just like block,
it's so
block,
weird,
block.
you know. And so like we're just watching TV, and all of a sudden I get a message from her, and I look over at her, and she's not even on her phone. And so I was like, "Oh, what's this about?" I open it, it's just like it said, "Hey, baby," and I was just like, "What's up?" And then it messaged me back, and I'm like, "Okay, that's not even coming from you." Yeah. And then it said like, "Why don't you look at my page?" And I just said, "Why would I look at your page when you're right next to me?" I take a picture, and next thing you know, I'm blocked. You know? So I'm like, well, fucking A, right? These guys are getting smarter.
Did I show you that one time? I think we were at Shantytown and some girl texted me and she like I feel like you were there, maybe not, but some girl texted me and it was like some girl from Germany and she's like, "Oh, I guess he gave me the wrong number." And she's like, "But I could use friends." And I was like, I go, "Hey, you could go catfish somebody else."
Dude, okay? I totally get my little brother just got into this. Oh my God, this is so funny you bring it up. My little brother just, and by little brother, I mean, he's like 2 years younger than me. Anyways, I come to my mom's house after like I pick up my girlfriend and we're going to visit and whatnot. Anyways, I saw he had texted me, but I didn't open it until I got home. And then like I'm sitting there and he's just sitting there like, "Hey man, you want to know something funny, man?" Oh man. And I was like, "Whoa, what's going on, dude?" He's just like, "So I I had someone message me on Instagram saying that they wanted to be my sugar mama and they sent me this check, and then I go cash it."
Oh, no.
And I kind of paranoid a little bit, so I just said, "Never mind, to cancel that check." And then so I told the account like, "Hey, I canceled the check." And then guess what? They're sending me death threats and pictures of people with their heads cut off and stuff and saying they're gonna kill me tomorrow. And I'm like, how do you set yourself up for this situation? And he's like telling me this as if like it's just brand new news. He's like, and now mom's freaking out. I'm like, well, why is she freaking out? He's like, because I told her and showed her all of it. And I'm like, what are you doing showing our poor mother like all these dead bodies, saying like, "Oh, that's gonna be me next"?
I mean, does he feel like that's a legit?
No, it's a scam. It's a total scam.
Right, but they're just trying to threaten him to force him to like.
I mean, it's the same. Yeah, so they're trying to threaten him so that way.
But they gave him
a fake check. So, but the way it works with these scams is that if you cash this check in, and they'll give you the credits right away.
Yeah, I know. I was a bank manager, but my question is, the teller didn't do their job because.
I think, no, you know what he did? He definitely went in through the ATM. That's how he did it. It was a weekend.
See, that's how they'll get you because it has to go
through and all that.
And then they'll have to process too sometimes.
Yeah, so he was smart enough. He called his bank, told him to close it. But then at the same time, they're like, he got like all these Google numbers calling him and texting him saying like, "This will be you tomorrow."
Did he receive that check through mail?
No, he got it through fucking Instagram, I believe. Like
they sent an image of the check and told him to just print it and deposit it?
I know this is your expertise, but I only know the story I'm telling you.
Well, no,
the picture he sent me, it was a picture of a check that had the fake name of the people that were there, and it was all black and white, as if like it was just a check that was sent from him to him through email. I mean, honestly, I just have no idea this, but I just know he had somehow gathered this fake check, put it in his account, and then got death threats.
Well, I guarantee too, some of those things are already flagged, especially if they've been doing this with a few people. Yeah. I mean, usually we have flags on certain accounts. Like one girl, she came in one time and she's like, "This is my new job." Because I told her, I said, "Well, do you want to stay here while I call the police and you can explain it to them?" And she was like, I said, and she goes, "I'll give you all his information." I said, "Exactly, dummy. Like, this is not about you. We're trying to get the bad guys. Now, if you want me to put this into your account, now you become part of it if you're trying to actually get money." Oh, yeah. She's like, "Well, I'm supposed to pick him up from the airport." I said, "You're not going to. There's no guy coming in, man. No. He wants you to Venmo the rest of the money to him. Like, you're never getting that back.
Never going to get that back. You're going to be $2,500 in debt on top of that."
I think the check was over for $5,000. And I go, I said, "Listen, I'm just trying to help you." I was like, let's just deduce us. Like, why wouldn't he just buy the software if he has this money?
Yeah. See, that's a question I asked my brother too. I was just like, why did you even try cashing? He's just like, could have been a real sugar mama. I don't know.
My God.
What the hell is you thinking, dog?
No, man. You got to actually meet her and see her home and see everything first.
See, the funniest thing to me, dude, was just like, so the text that they kept getting from him, I mean, from these people who kept saying, "We'll kill you tomorrow. We'll kill you tomorrow morning." They kept saying morning. The next day, I go to over to my mom's house again. It's 1:00 in the afternoon, and my brother's finally getting out of bed. And I was asking him, I'm like, "Man, you scared?" He's like, "No, I'm not scared. I know they're not going to come for me in the morning." morning, and meanwhile he's in bed up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh my, yeah, he's fine.
He's totally fine. Yeah, I mean,
totally
I just
fine.
texted him. He sent me laughing, crying faces.
So wait, how long ago did this happen? Then?
2 days ago, no more.
Wait.
Yeah, this is like as recent as it
let's
gets.
just wait a month or two. If they're Eastern European, maybe they're gonna like come up with another use for him, like hostile. You know, like
100%. Hey, don't kill my brother.
Don't do
Thank
it.
you.
You want to say his name so that people know?
No, I'll say my brother's name. I'll say his birthday, but no.
I'll give you his social. I mean,
you know, it's funny. I did a joke about socials. You know, like I remember I did a podcast for Zach and them, and they were like, "What's your social?" And I was just like, just gave him like a fake social security number.
You're like 61259. Okay, I'm not going to do the rest because what if that's really somebody's?
Oh, if it's somebody's, then that's their fault for having that number.
Oh, maybe.
You shouldn't have been born,
But it's
dude.
like a random number in my brain. But let's switch gears. I got another question for you, and I feel like we're going to go down a rabbit hole with this one for sure. What is your feeling about paranormal stuff?
100% real, dude. Are you
Everything.
Dude, I've seen that shit. Yeah.
Okay,
man.
so there's levels of paranormal, right? There's aliens. We know UFOs exist now, but aliens themselves
aliens
as a
don't.
species.
Yeah.
No, as a species, right?
No, that's what the government's saying. They're saying
Yeah.
the UFOs are real, aliens are not.
Yeah. It must be a human technology that nobody's claiming
From another planet.
Yeah, that nobody's gonna claim, but it exists. But yeah, so also demons and angels and like there's so many levels of all that. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
So
I
you
got a
said
whole
you
lot
had
of it.
experiences. You want to
Of
share
experiences.
one?
Well,
Or share a
the
few?
most recent thing that I know of was a UFO sighting. Well, keep in mind when you see UFOs, they're just lights in the distance and shit like that. And so, but at the same time, like, why are these lights moving around? Anyways, it was my girlfriend and I were driving back from, I believe, my old house in Palm Coast. And as we're driving back, I'm just like, holy shit, look at that, you know? And like, I felt like I said it calm, but to her, she said, holy shit, look at that. You know, she said that's how I reacted. I don't recall it, but fuck it, you know? So I'm like, we're looking up and then just like, there was just one that was moving and then all of a sudden a second one comes. And as the second one, I'm sorry, I'm upstaging myself. So a second one comes and at that time, next thing you know, like these two just like cross paths and then they're gone.
Right.
So that was like the first time I actually saw like UFO where I was saying, because you know there's multiple times where like I'm like, oh, that must have been a UFO, but it was probably just something similar to like a airplane, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you something. I had two recent experiences here in Jacksonville that made me take pause. One,
for what side though?
That's what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
So one, I was headed to Voussoir and I was taking like A1A, the back route to Mayport Road from where, you know, through downtown, whatever, through Merrill Road, kind of crap or whatever back there. And I saw these lights, but they were not normal lights. And then I was like, is that
like on the road or
no,
like up in the sky? Okay.
It was nighttime too.
Yeah.
So it's dark as shit too. It's not that very lit back there.
Of course.
And so I'm looking at these lights and I'm like, they're blinking, but they're not normal blink. They're like these slower blinks. And then there's one light that is a white light that is just there. It's not blinking at all. Okay. But it's close enough that I can see that it's shaped like a triangle. But then I'm like, wait, I think that's a drone, you know, because I've messed with drones and stuff, especially in California, especially at night where we're running and gunning shots and we're not supposed to. So like that's what it looked like as I got closer, but it was fairly huge.
And this is just recent.
Just recent.
Wow.
Then the second time something happened, I was going down 95 to CBD. I was going down 95 and I was going to take
295 or whatever.
Yeah, 95 to 295 just as you get off, you get St. Augustine or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I see what I think looks like a helicopter, but it's like dark like a drone. And it's huge. It's not, and I was like, are military drones that big? Like, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to use rational, thought process behind it to like, maybe this is something like technology. We do have bases in Jacksonville.
Two of them. Yeah.
But the lights, again, were weird. They were not normal. And then it hovered over the interstate as it was passing. And I go, that's not a motherfucking helicopter because I would hear it. Like, it was so low. And I'm getting the chills just thinking about it because then I was like, okay, maybe it is a drone, a very big drone. I'm getting chills, like from the, I don't know, news station or whatever.
Yeah, she's a little chilly. She's a little chilly.
They're coming for us. And then I went to look in my rearview mirror because I was like, if it's legit and I actually, just that's a drone, I'll still see it there.
Mm-hmm.
It was not in my rearview mirror when I went by it. And I have also, yeah, dude. And I kept looking and I kept going, well, maybe my incline's off. Like I just can't see through my rear view because I couldn't turn my head all the way around because I'm on 95. I don't want to fucking kill myself.
There's like 8 cars around you at all times.
Yeah, dude, it was horrible. At nighttime. And anyway, and I still could not see it. Like it just got out of it was gone. And I was like, because you would still think if you were going down, you'd see the lights or something from it. But what killed me is it was so fucking close and I didn't hear it. And I was like, nah. It could be a drone. I'm not going to say it's not. Still eerie as fuck that I saw within a week 2 sightings of drones hovering very close to the roadside, which I would assume honestly is illegal without a permit.
Yeah, that's an airspace violation thing. Right, yeah, that's a fly space. Yeah,
I mean, maybe somebody out there can show me where to check airspace. Where they're
go on the NATO or something.
Yeah, because in California, if you're going to use airspace, you have to notify them. They have to give you they have to know you're out there. Basically,
just like any other permit. Yeah.
That's why we say run and gun because you just go up for a few minutes and come back down as soon as you can. But
yeah, so those are my.
Okay, so
alien stories, yeah. Well, I mean, there was another one that it was always kind of weird when it happened because I can't explain it to this day. But it was just I was just walking my dog out when I first moved to Florida. I was just walking my dog at the time, and the one thing I remember was just while we're outside, all of a sudden you just hear whoa, and it was just like the loudest wah wah sound, and it just got bigger and louder and louder. There's nothing coming. There's nothing above me. There's nothing. It was like, if anything, the only thing that was going on was like the football game that was at the football fields right across the street, but nothing that would have been traveling as far and close to where I was. And so I freaked the fuck out and just ran inside.
Where in Florida was this though?
Jacksonville, here in Jacksonville.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, well, technically St. Johns County, but
I mean, people could argue it was a frog or something, but I'm sure you know the difference.
That thing is fucking loud to be a frog, dude. That thing was like bass treble, like bass at a concert.
I think they say Skunk Man does that sound or something.
What the fuck is Skunk Man? Dude?
It's basically Sasquatch for Florida.
Ah, okay. I never heard that.
Yeah. So it's like.
So yeah, I saw Skunk Man. That happened, but no. Those are my alien things. The ghost stories were different, very different and wild. Like these ones will make you even chillier than you just were.
Come on, give it to me. I want to hear them.
So the one that sticks out in my head the most. So this is the one that I've been told that I said, because keep in mind, I'm like a little child. I don't remember saying this at all, but my mom told me this is what happened. She said when we were dropping my dad off at the airport, because my dad traveled a lot on the way there. I'm sorry, let me backtrack. So in the house in Chicago, it was a 2-story house. I was up in the 2nd story and I was the only room up there. But there was a walk-in attic if you were to go that right down the hall, no more than probably from here to where the camera is right here. And she said that I told them that someone came out of the attic and walked in my room and said, "You don't belong here. You guys need to get out." And my mom is like,
I believe it.
Are you sure it was a Scooby-Doo? Because I was watching Scooby-Doo, she told me, I just told her, no, I described who the guy was and all that. And so that was the first story I'd ever heard. And the second story also came from this house. This one I remember vividly, like the back of my hand. Keep in mind, this house was 100 and something years old. The previous owner, who had the house for so long, was a very bitter man. He actually hung himself in the basement of the place where we called our playroom of all places. So, but obviously as a kid, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about it. But the one that caught me was it's late at night. I'm a little kid. I had a TV in my room. And so I would watch TV until I couldn't, and it's probably 2 o'clock in the morning. Anyways, my dad comes in and he sits on the bed, on the edge of the bed, reaches over, turns the TV off, and then he looks at me. And then the second we made eye contact, I'm asleep, just like that, just asleep. Then the next morning I go downstairs and, Mom was like, "Good morning, how are you?" I was like, "Good, where's Dad at?" And she's just like, "He's probably still on a tower." And I'm just like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh, he's probably still in Arkansas right now working on a tower for a cell phone tower." And at that moment, I was just like, and it was one of those things where as a kid, you're just like, "Oh, okay." But looking back, I was just like, so that wasn't my dad. You know?
So wait, how old are you when this happened? I got
No
chills
more
with
than
that.
like 5 or 6.
So they say that, especially like there's.
But this guy was my dad. This is what I'm saying. It's like it looked just
there's
like
theories. There's theories behind this. So they say that sometimes the spirits or whatever, they'll take on people's images, that you're familiar with or comfortable with. In particular, dark spirits.
Yeah, because he looked angry at me when I fell asleep.
Yeah, I was going to say in particular, but here's the thing. Like usually when somebody commits suicide, there's something else going on in that area. And so unfortunately it leaves like a negative imprint, and sometimes those people are lost. So maybe that person was just frustrated. You left the TV on, but was still trying to be nice by impersonating your father, but was still pissed you're in this space.
And dude, my dad's one of those guys that never believes anything. Like my mom's got stories on stories on stories, and my dad has actually seen a ghost, but before that he was just not a believer of it. And it's just so fucking funny because my dad is just, he's always the kind of guy to just have an explanation for everything, you know what I mean? And so whenever I try to say something like that, he was just like, you're just dreaming. You know? No, my dad, he's also the kind of guy that always he always wants you to think that he was the first person to know about something, and so the way he found out that someone died in the house was like the previous owners, like the immediate owners before us, or were they the neighbors? I can't remember. But anyways, they saw my dad, went up to him and talked to him. While they're talking, one of the ladies is like, hey, why don't you tell them about the old owner that was here? And like the husband was like, no, we don't need to. And then finally my dad's just like, what's this about? Finds out the story of the guy who was a terrible dude, killed himself, all that shit. Anyways, my mom tells me that he called her right away. And this is how much of a guy my dad is that wants to make sure everyone knows he knew it first, right? Calls him up. Hey, Gina, you knew that someone hung themselves under the basement, right? She's like, no, Zane, I didn't know this. And then the final story, that this one, I didn't realize this was like as significant until like years down the road when I was like talking about this with somebody, So my little brother, the same one that got the death threats, he used to sleep. And so the stairs were right here, and the upstairs is obviously my room. And then at the bottom, at the base, his door is right next to it. And that's where you sleep. Well, for a while, this kid was just like, every time he would like go to sleep, he would just have dreams of demons and stuff like that. Yeah. It got to the point where our pastor that was like at the church near us, we got to talk to him. She blessed him, all that shit, all that stuff. Sorry, God. And so then that's all like died down and shit like that. And what I remember is there was one night I decided to sleep in his room while I think he was staying at my grandma's or something like that. And as I'm sleeping, I have a dream of a Grim Reaper kind of character, but with like rotten flesh and shit. And the next thing I remember was just waking up and throwing up everywhere. Yeah. And then when I was telling my friend about this like a year ago, she was just like, yeah, you're being possessed, dude. I was like, no. I woke up. And they were just like, yeah, no, you woke up and threw up. The throwing up is being possessed. And I was just like, I was sick. Just like I didn't want to admit it,
But did she say like you got out of it because you threw up, or like?
No, she just said that that's just a sign of you being possessed, is throwing up after having visions and stuff. Which I mean, I've had dreams where like I've thrown up after it, but that was because I had a dream that I was on a carousel for like an hour and a half, But
that's different. Then.
Yeah.
So basically, she's saying you're able to channel spirits, and that's what's making.
The fuck I am, dude. I don't want that responsibility. I didn't sign up for this Peter Parker job.
You may be able to.
I don't want that.
Have you heard of the Ashkick Records or whatever? Basically, it's
probably not, on the fact that you probably don't know the word of the name either.
Akashic, excuse me. What did I say? Ashkick or what?
Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Listen.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Let's reboot.
Okay, Akashic Records. Okay. Do you obviously know what
like
they
records
are?
As in a record store, right?
No. So so you don't know what it is? I wasn't sure if you were being a smart ass.
No. I'm sorry. This is me not being narcissistic. This is me being genuinely curious of what you have to say to me.
So it's basically and this is the theory, they can't really necessarily prove this. But the theory is that there is a universal file folder of all our souls and spirits, and that is the Akashic Records. And so supposedly you can tune into these records, and usually people do it through like through hypnosis or something where they can delve back
so it's
in.
just like in your head kind of thing?
Yeah, well, but there's also people like mediums or whatever that have access to these records. Usually your spirit guides can tell you what these records are because they're still there and have that connection. So supposedly, though, I got a psychic to do mine. And there's a couple weird things, though, that I actually was like, how would they know? Like, I've liked my whole life, but never knew why or never understood. And then they said that I've had 96 lifetimes on this planet. And I was like, I hate myself. Why do I keep doing this? Like, why would and it said, get this, it also said that for 96% of those lifetimes, I chose to be a woman. What the fuck?
The last dude was just like,
no wonder. I was like, I can't wait to tell Mikey B this because I was like, you're right. Maybe I do hate men for it. No, I actually love men. I don't have an issue with that, but I just find it funny. I was like, oh, all these things. But here's another thing.
Can you imagine a dude version of Vanessa Scaduto?
Yeah, my father. It's worse. It's the worst. He's worse than me. He's definitely.
Your father's probably just like, man, I wish I could be a girl next time.
Yeah, well, my dad used to say things like, right after I had my daughter and we'd drive by like strip clubs, he's like, guys are so fucking stupid. If I was a woman, I'd be stripping. And I was like, Dad, your daughter's sitting right next to you. He goes, nah, I raised you right. I was like, as I'm 19 or 20 years old now, sitting with my like 6-month-old daughter, and I'm just like, this piece of shit. Did you though? I'm 20 with a kid. You fucking fuckface.
Dude, shit like that happens all the time, man. My dad will always like have some. My dad's one of those guys where like he has very, very set opinions, you know, that change.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You know,
when did you start believing this?
Yeah, when did this come up? Like
you used to say that, and you're like, nah, I never said
like
that.
This is not like the best story, but this is probably a good example of like the kind of guy my dad is. Keep in mind, Dad, I love you more than anything in the world. This is just one of the funniest stories I have. And so my uncle, who's my dad's best friend, he has house full of girls, and the oldest twin is gay. Or at the time, she was experimenting and becoming a lesbian. I mean, I know that's probably not the best way. I don't know. Keep in mind, I'm also straight and don't know how this works. And so
I think we're just figuring it all out.
I'm so curious. Like, I have a gay friend, dude. It's great that he came out. You know, we're proud of him, but it's really terrible because like now I have so many questions I need to ask him. Because like when I watch Discovery Channel, I'm not watching for the animals. I'm watching to find out how they fuck. You know what I mean? Like I just need to know how things like this work out. And so, anyways, back to what I was saying. So when my cousin found out that she was more into women than she was anything else, that made a little ripple effect to where not only did she come out, but then my other cousin came out as bisexual. And then the other cousin also came out as bisexual, or at least that's how the story goes. And so my uncle didn't know that the other two had came out, right? And so my dad told him, he was like, hey, Mike, I hate to tell you, but yeah. So he told him, my uncle gets out of the car. It's just like, fuck, like, what do I do? You know, because this is pre 2016,
yes,
before all this.
I know.
So this is like the time when everyone was just kind of just like.
I love how you said 2016. As for me in the 90s, I had girlfriends who were bisexual, which was a big deal.
No, don't get me wrong. Like, we had that too.
But it was still very stigmatized in a lot of
100%.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah. See, like, that's what I think a lot of people forget about is just like, it was like the term okay to be gay like just happened as of recently when this all got legalized. Like people forget that there's still people who didn't grow up that way. Like obviously like in this day and age we can easily get around it, no problem. There's
people still living in communities, especially in the South, where they're hiding because
I love them all.
They're hiding because their community still doesn't accept it. And
exactly. You got other countries and shit like that. Yeah.
In a crazy time right now.
Yeah. And so anyways, so my dad told us, as he's telling us a story, me and my two other brothers are in the car. Keep in mind, I'm the oldest at 13. And then so my dad is just saying, now, boys, I'm going to tell you this right now. If one of you is going to come to me and say, Daddy, I'm gay, we're going to go into the woods here, and I'm going to bring my 45, and we're going to see how gay you really are.
Oh my God.
And then I brought it up to him recently. He was just like, I would never say something like that. That is disgusting, Cross. Why would you ever make that up about me? And I was just like, I love you, Dad. You know?
Listen, there's a couple things. Yeah, there's a couple things my dad, when I bring it up to him, he's like, I did that. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they're always like, why would I ever say that? You know?
And I'm like, because you did.
Like, you think I would just make it up?
I was like, I don't know the why behind it because you said it, but you did.
Like, up until now, this is probably the first time I ever told this story, like, on a recording. Like, why would I make it up just for this? I've told everybody else I knew about this story.
Oh,
Why would it change now?
Here's the thing. Like, I remember my mom, sounds like your dad. My mom, my dad's a little bit more open-minded. My mom used to not believe depression existed. And I was like,
that was my stepdad.
I was like, your father was a wife beater. And I was like, and he was a drunk. Like, what are you talking about depression? He made everybody depressed around
I
him.
hear that. My stepdad would always, like, I remember I had like very bad depression in high school, and like my stepdad got worried that I was depressed, and then he would come and be like, he's like, what are you so sad for? He's like, you got a house, dude. He's like, you get food. And he's just like, just stop being sad. And I was just like, why did I not think about that? Damn, you know what, man? You got it on the nose. I think I'm going to stop being sad.
Just stop it. I was like,
I'm the happiest I've ever been now.
That's exactly like hetero people going, you should just stop being gay. Just
try it out.
Yeah, just try it out.
Just try it out.
Like, just fucking like.
You ever told a joke before, dude?
See, that's the irony is like my mom, okay, I have a gay cousin, but he was in his 20s in the 90s. So he was super gay, but my family was in such denial, especially being.
I love the super part.
Especially being Latin. I'm saying the cultural part, and then, well, I knew he was gay. I was 10 years old, and I knew my cousin in his 20s was gay. He always brought his best friend, also his roommate.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're lovers. Like, I could see they looked at each other like romantic partners.
Right.
And I didn't care. My dad, and ironically, my dad's side, my dad's brother was gay. So like I had two gay family members on either side. But I remember I went up to my mom and she loved my cousin. Ukito, if you're watching, I love you. And so she loved my cousin. So, but me and my sister went up to her one day and we're like, hey, Mom, Ukito's gay, right? And she goes, hey, don't say that. And like tell me to be quiet. And I was like, because we were little, and I was like, why? What's wrong? And she goes, Vanessa, just don't talk about it, okay? And I was like, because I guess my cousin hadn't come out to everybody. She knew, but she didn't want people to talk and like push him away kind of thing because of religion. The irony is my cousin married an ex-priest and they're still Catholic.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Like his husband was a
That's
priest.
awesome, dude.
And they live in Colorado. I love my cousins. Like, I don't care. But like, we're a huge family. It's just funny to me. It's like initially they were worried. And guess what? My uncle still loves him, knows he's gay. And he spends time with them. Like, there's.
As he should.
Yeah, as he should. What I'm saying is nothing really happened. It was
Yeah, of course, nothing really happened.
It was like, it was love. But at the time, if you had come up to me and said my cousin would have chose that, I would have told you, are you stupid? It went against everything he was taught, against culture, against religion. But yet he couldn't push that away, even though my cousin always tried to be the best at, always try to do right. So it's like, no, dude, you can't choose that shit.
Dude, I totally get it, man. My grandfather was the same kind of way, like as your mom, where like, he won't say the word gay, when he's like I remember there would be times, I believe, a cousin of mine, she came out as gay and he would just use any word but gay to describe her. It's just like, your cousin's, a little light in the loafers. She's creative. She's pretty theatrical. Like just saying words.
Yeah, well, I think too is like with my dad and his brother. My uncle, they knew he was gay when he was 3 years old.
Course.
But they grew up in Brooklyn.
Which is wild. How do you find that out at 3?
Well, he
sucking on too many binkies at one time.
No, I think he liked more feminine things. Like there was just there. I think he wanted to be more involved in things that weren't necessarily. Plus, he was born in the late 50s, so it's like. Him playing with dolls was very significant. Like that wasn't like.
You said that was in the 60s?
Yeah, I think it was
that's 100% significant.
Like late 50s, early 60s. So it's
your dad probably got made fun of at work when they found out.
Well, I don't think my dad gave a shit. Like my dad was always No, I was gonna say I don't think my dad ever gave a shit that his brother was gay. Like,
no, I mean I wouldn't care either.
Yeah, but that's not to say that the family didn't have issue. I mean, the same mother, my father's mother, my grandmother was the same person who went to my mom and told her she was worried we were going to look Puerto Rican. And I was like, but my mom's Chilean.
Yeah, right.
Like, hey, racist, relax.
Yeah, right. See, like, I don't care if you're gay at all, but if you're someone that watches shit on your phone while there's a movie going on, you don't deserve to be on the same planet as I am. That's what the fuck my brother does, dude. My brother he expresses serial killer like behavior, not in the sense that he's like, pissing the bed or lighting shit on fire, but like he has no regard for human life to the point where he just plays music as loud as he can in the middle of a movie, like during the most sad part of the whole movie.
He's watching shit and playing music, or
no, that's the worst part. Or is he the
asshole playing video games and playing to loud music? Because that annoys the fuck out of me.
No. It's even worse. It's like one of those things where, like, say we're watching Marley and Me. It's getting to the part where like we're looking at the TV and the dog is being put down to sleep, and then just as you're like starting to shed that gangster tear, you just start to hear like, and you're like, dude, you weren't even on your phone a second ago. What is a dog dying too, born for you?
Does he really do that though?
Swear to God, dude. And he'll not see the problem. I'll just be like, rain, and he'll just be like, what? And I'll just be like, turn it down. And he'll just be like, I'm just, dude, he'll give you like some,
Has your sibling ever told you he had ever ghost experiences besides like?
See, he has, but I don't believe him. That's the thing between him and I is like they're you would hate that I tell these things because he's always the kind of guy where like if I were to call him out, no, he's not a pathological liar. My brother's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. It's just that he's very easily triggered by like say if we're talking about UFOs right now, he'd be like, oh my God, I think I see a UFO. Like that kind of guy.
I see.
Love you, Rain. But anyway, so he'll so one of the things that like made me go like, okay, I truly don't believe you was when we were at my grandparents' house in Chicago, and we just happened to be talking about my great grandfather who had passed away, my poppy. And they were talking about how he would wear a leather jacket and shit like that. My brother just like goes like, oh my God, I just saw someone in a leather jacket walk past.
Oh, no.
And I would just be like, did you really, dude? Did you really?
No.
You really saw Poppy? You saw Poppy after 10 years of him being dead?
What is your brother's birthday? No, not
what's his
just
birthday?
the month and the date.
December. He's just a December guy.
Early December, late?
Middle. Like right next to Christmas.
Okay, so he's
Same
Sagittarius. Yeah. He's a Sagittarius.
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Well, chances.
Okay,
chances.
Got it.
Well, chances. Actually, wait. No, wait. Sorry, I think I'm getting that wrong.
It's just the second half of the month.
Maybe
I'll say that. Yeah.
Maybe an Aquarius.
I don't know. I could call him right now, but I think it's unprofessional.
How about this? How about it doesn't matter?
I mean, I can call him right now. I can call him.
No. Because then he's gonna be like, I knew you were gonna do that.
He'll be like, oh, dude, can you put me on the microphone, bro? Can you put me on speaker, dude? I need to shout out my buddies.
No, the reason why I was asking is like, because I know that on my dad's side, there's like a family story they tell, like because they had a haunted house or something like, but this is when he was a kid, my dad. This is why my dad is more open to this stuff, is because he experienced some crazy shit himself. But I do love how my dad's stories kind of change as he gets older. There's still the same premise. But I was like, hey, Dad, you told me, though, you and Uncle Steven were playing pool and you saw it downstairs. And he goes, I kind of remember that. Maybe that did happen. And I was like, or maybe you just made it up.
Dude, that's my dad, man. My dad is a true stretcher. It's not like he doesn't tell a true story. It's just that he adds things that don't need to be added into. Yeah. Like my dad, for a while, his big thing to like show how good of a man he was to add that he cried in the story. And like one of them in particular, dude, I remember we drove up to South Carolina to go visit my brother and sister and stuff. And just by the grace of God, we stopped at this one stop. And while we were in there using the bathroom, a guy, a janitor had came in, tried open the door on accident, and my dad saw him, was just like, I'm sorry, like occupied. And then they saw locked eyes, and the guy was like, my bad. And then my dad just had this look on his face like, I think I know that guy, and then we go out. And the way I remember it is he walks up to the guy that was in the van that just like barged in, and he was just like, he said, Michael, and he's just like, Zane. Zane, and then they like just like hug and say like, Dan, how the hell are you, boy? Because just like just hick talking back and forth. And then whenever my dad tells a story, he's like, and then I saw Michael and I saw him. And I was just like, Michael, and he's like, Zane, and then we hugged and we cried, man. We cried so I can't believe I haven't seen you in forever. I just could not believe it. And then like it almost got to the point where like I would have to like step in and stop him, like whenever he tells a story, because like it can even go to a point where it's just like, man, I found that one bottle of 32 ounces of pure Bud Light. And I cried right there in the aisle. I did.
Well, like with my dad, recently, I would say he did something like this, but I got really angry. He's trying to be cool in front of the comics. And I was trying not to get angry in front of the comics, but I think they could tell because they don't ever see me really get like, but he kept saying something. I'm like, that's not what happened. Like he kept saying it. He goes, yeah, like trying to make me look stupid though. I was like, but that didn't happen. I'm not a little kid anymore kind of thing. Like, stop making fun of me in a way that's not really funny except for you. You know what I mean? I'm like, and I did get a lot of my sense of humor from my father. Like I had, I did, but it's like but I was never one to like really tear people down, like to make things funny. But my dad is really good at this, especially women, like,
oh yeah, dude. There's nothing better than
I was like, I'm not a fucking bimbo. Stop saying that. Yeah, right. He'll say that. He's like, all right, you bimbette or something like that.
Bimbette?
Yeah, bimbette. Like
that's funny.
Because I
would never came up with that.
He's from Brooklyn. So he's like, all right, bimbette, like instead of saying bimbo, and I'm like, hey, still the same fucking thing. Like you didn't change it. He did it so many times. I was like, Dad, stop calling me a bad name.
It's not like he's calling you dude and then dudette. It's like
exactly. Yeah. But he would be like, all right, you bitch, like under his breath or something. But it's like habit for him.
Yeah.
It's not even meant to me, but it's like, but I was just, he said it so many times. I was like, can you shut the fuck up? Like with that bitch bimbo thing. Like, and he's like, oh, I'm right. You're right. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah. See, you gotta love people like that. I was
like, it's not the fucking 60s anymore.
I know.
And you're my father.
Now I gotta ask you, during this whole time, are your friends kind of chuckling and you're straight faced?
No, because the comics were just smiling.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's just like, dude, there's nothing better than like I know so many people, kind of like my dad, where like the things he does, I don't find funny, but everyone else is just like. You know
what Emery said? Actually, you just reminded me.
What did he
Emery
say?
said right after my dad was done telling the story, he goes, "You guys should do a set." I was like, "Fuck that!" He's like, "You guys should do like what did he say? Like, oh my god, like
a duet."
Yeah, but he was talking about he said somebody that has done a set together, and I was I go, that would be fucking horrible.
Like bumping mics type shit. Yeah.
I was like, no fucking way. I would just end up strangling my father, and he'd be like, I'm so fucking funny.
Dude, that's how, I mean, like the thing with that is just everybody, I mean, I find my grandfather hilarious. My grandfather is one of the funniest people I know, but like my grandfather doesn't stop joking, like he'll he'll just like, it'll just be something like, what's oh man, this here is all black and white and red all over. And you'll be like, what is? And you'll be like, a newspaper. And then he'll like tell stories just like my dad that'll like make him, look better.
Yeah. My grandfather and my father, his father, did not get along very well, but I loved my grandfather.
Yeah.
Was my grandfather a big piece of shit to my dad? Yes, he was a big piece of shit.
Right. Yeah.
But he loved me and I loved him. But my grandfather, now I'm thinking about it that you brought it up, he would tell stories and I could see my dad's eyes just going, oh God, like that, like rolling.
Yeah.
But, my grandfather was pure Sicilian and he'd be like, hey, Toots, with his smoky, he died because of heart disease. I mean,
right.
He just kept
Probably
smoking.
A big dude on top of it.
I don't remember. He was tall. Well, from what I remember.
No, I mean like Italian big, like.
No, he was a little overweight, but nothing bad.
Because that's my grandfather. My grandfather's Italian big right now. Well, and I'm on the road to look like him.
Well, my grandfather though, like got sepsis a couple of times. So like he lost a lot of weight in the hospital from almost dying.
I need to get some sepsis then.
I know, dude. Just the fucking, I don't know, eat some fecal matter. Do something. With a cut in your mouth.
Dude, just eat some ass, bro.
With a cut in your mouth. Make sure you slice your toe.
Make sure you have braces too. Get some extra cuts on your teeth. Like my grandfather finds a way to like bring up politics in any way he can, you know?
Right.
My grandfather is a Uber driver in Chicago. And the thing is that he's an Uber driver because when he was retired, he didn't realize how much time he's gonna be spending at home with my grandmother. And like we all love my grandma, but he can only take so much at a time, being like 60 plus years with her. But no, so my grandfather,
heart palpitation.
he was like, you know, I had someone tell me I don't look like I'm 75 years old. And I was just like, really? He's like, yeah, sure did. It was a lady in Chicago. And I was just like, well, how'd that come up? And he was just like, well, you know, we were picking him up and she said that she was 65 years old. And I said I was 75 years old. And she's like, no, you don't look 75. And I'm just like, well, how did that get brought up? He's like, oh, well, it's because I saw the gas prices went up. So I brought up how Joe Biden doesn't need to be in office anymore. and so what happened was after he said that, the lady was just like, you know what? I don't need to hear this. I'm a 65-year-old woman. He's like, well, I'm 75. So it's always my grandfather just trying to get the upper hand.
What if she just said, let's go, Brandon?
He said that she was just quiet the whole time and he had no idea why. He's like, you can't figure it out?
Well, listen, I love that old white male privilege because they don't they just feel they can say whatever they want to whoever, and that person automatically agrees with them. And I'm like, my dad does that shit sometimes, and I'm like, but my dad is also ACAB, and I'm like, what?
Right.
Like I'm not even ACAB, and my father is, and I'm like, and my dad's like, yeah, I used to get in fist fights with the cops. He goes, now these fucking pussies have guns and they just keep shooting. I'm like, Dad.
I used to be ACAB up until my car got broken into, and then after that, cops were like the coolest people I had ever met. Well, I was like, you guys should be hired more.
The thing is, I have one of my close friends is an officer. Like, I actually know both sides, if that makes sense, you know? And I don't think all cops are bastards because I know that not to be true.
Yeah.
I also know it's like any workplace. You have piece of shit people who work with you anywhere you work.
Yes.
And you know you want to fire them, but you have to like get so much evidence to prove because of fucking, you know, like health or OSHA laws, whatever the fucking employee compliance HR bullshit has to do.
Yeah, Section 3.
Whatever, sure. Yeah, 5.621 nights. Yeah, asterisks. That's the whole point of kidding.
Yeah, now go on.
Yeah, no, but we're almost getting close to the time.
Oh, really? I felt this has been 10 minutes.
I know, right? No, but I wanted to know if there's anything you want to promote? Anything?
Shit, yeah, dude.
Okay, fucking do it. I know you got some goodies too to up in there too, right?
Literally, the brand I have is called Goodies. It's not my brand. I should re-emphasize. So it's a great brand. It's ran by my dear friends Aaron Hall, Daniel, DJ Dizzy Dan, and Jerry Worlds. And so the three of them have gotten together and made this little logo called Goodies. I support them wholly. They've sponsored me. They've given me some free stuff. And if you ever check out their website, Goodies Florida, that's FL.com. You can easily just find everything. They got mystery boxes, all that. Besides clothes, you can find me anywhere on YouTube, Crossblocker. Don't even try to check my Twitter. It's not even worth looking through. I probably like post once, maybe 2.5 semesters.
Me too. I don't give
a damn about Twitter, dude. Twitter was one of those things you had to be like on the nose with, like back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit enough.
I still don't know how to use it.
I went in there and deleted a bunch of shit.
Oh, I do. And then Facebook, Crossblocker. But you can also check out my podcast that I have called Can I Borrow You for 5 Minutes, where I have Vanessa Scaduto on. She's in the first episode. But yeah, I release them about 3 days a week. And so next week we got 3 more episodes. And yeah, just keep a look on it. It'll be on everything that you can find your podcast on and more.
And if you do go watch that episode with me on it, I was talking about Deion Sanders.
Deion
Sanders.
Oh, the Colonel of KFC.
Yeah, sure. Not that. But also I was about to go up and I didn't feel like my brain was in it because I was the next one on the list. So I was like,
I thought it was a good deal. It was a good pod.
I was like, oh my God, I was thinking of my set and then I had to focus my energy somewhere else anyways, whatever.
Yeah, but yes, give me a follow at Crossblock on Instagram, please.
Yeah. And it's on Spotify
yeah, everything.
I follow.
I found out that it's not on Apple, but I did like just put in a little RSS thing to make sure it gets spread around. But yeah, anywhere there's podcasts.
Yeah. I actually like it. It's pretty funny.
Good,
I've been listening to it. So.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, I gave you a thumbs up and
hell yeah, dude.
bro.
I'm so glad. I know. I've been like, see, my whole thing is just like, I want to post this, you know, and not let everybody like choose to watch it or like tell people you have to watch it because people won't watch it. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll post it. And I'm actually pretty surprised how many people are actually like swiping up and telling me they like it.
It's also nice because it's just 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so it's like
nothing worse.
It's nothing. It's so you go through
There's
them and you don't even think
than an
about
hour-long podcast that someone just told you watch. You know,
right? One more thing though, and then I'll get out of here.
Okay.
What do you think about this? This is the first time Marshall's going to hear it too. My producer. I talked to CJ and we're thinking about, this was my thought, and CJ thinks it's cool. What if we film around a campfire and tell our comics,
what the fuck, dude? That was my idea.
What? How? When?
Dude, no shit. That was literally my idea for like back in December. I brought it up because we were all sitting around a campfire in Shantytown.
I wasn't there.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, I have it on my Instagram. I literally like posted a picture. It was about members only. And like my whole thing that I was talking about was like, dude, how fucking cool would it be if we got together and like just had everybody like, because I even bought fucking lapel mics because I was just like, how cool would it be if we had everybody sit around in a circle and do these things?
Well, yeah, because at my house I have a fire pit. And stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was thinking too.
I thought about it with CJ because CJ has a lot of crazy stories. I have a feeling more comics are gonna have them.
Yeah.
So, but also we could bring stories we've heard, whatever.
That's great.
I figured, bring it up, see what the audience wants to do and listen. I think it would be. Well, we're gonna produce it. Anyway, Cross, I love you. Thank you for coming. Yes. We will have you back, of course. And thank you guys for tuning in again. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening to Los Rotos or watching us either way.
So excited.
All right. Peace.